Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Oculus resurrection. Do you believe in resurrection? Well, we do not know for sure what happens after a person has been declared dead. This video captured at a toddler's funeral may have shown a real resurrection. 3-year-old Camila Roxana Martinez Mendoza was experiencing stomach pains, vomiting, and fever when her mother, Mary Jane Mendoza, took her to see a doctor in Villa de Ramos on August 17, 2014. On getting there, the doctor said Mendoza should be taken to a hospital and be treated for dehydration. According to reports, she was later released from the hospital and given a prescription, but continued to get worse that day. After Mary took the child back to the hospital, another doctor reportedly told her to give Mendoza fruits and water and prescribe something else. Unfortunately, none of that worked, so Mendoza was taken to an emergency room where her mother alleges poor treatment took place. She said it took the medical staff too long to give Mendoza intravenous therapy because they couldn't find her veins. Soon, they gave her the therapy, but only to be removed after 10 minutes, telling Mary Jane that her daughter was dead. The next day, Mendoza was taken to be buried, and at her funeral, someone noticed the glass window of her coffin was fogged up. They took her out, and a pulse was discovered. Immediately, she was taken back to the hospital, but unfortunately, she could not be revived, and was declared dead again from brain swelling. It seems like the poor little girl fought so hard for her life, but couldn't make it. However, this unknown man shows us WWE and church. Actually, wrestling is not that sport that you see everywhere, except on your TV, or maybe in an arena. It is definitely not that sport you expect to see in a church, but, crazy things happen. And when they do, it can be anywhere and anytime. In this Florida church on a bright Sunday morning, the priest was coordinating the program, while the congregation seemed to follow him every step of the way. Judging from his looks, he is an old priest who is not new to the system, but has done this over and over. So he probably didn't expect an unpleasant surprise on a Sunday morning. Now, this guy who appeared at first like he was attentively listening to the priest suddenly stood up from his seat, and just when you thought he had a question to ask, he charged at the priest and wrestled him. Looking at the guy, he has a small build and doesn't look like someone that could carry this priest, but he did it and even slammed him to the ground. He was so strong on the priest that it took about 10 people of the congregation to take the priest from him. Fortunately, the priest was not injured. He got back on his feet again and continued the church service. But as for the guy, he was arrested for attacking an innocent man. Till today, no one knows why he did that, but some believers have said that he must have been possessed by demons to attack a man of God. Kudos to the priest, though. The work of God must go on just like this. Never-ending music. Back in July 2007, a group of guys decided they wanted an adventure and thought of going to a haunted chapel at night. First off, this chapel was built in the woods. Secondly, it has been closed down and abandoned for a while. This may make you ask why anyone would want to go there in the dead of the night. Anyway, they went already, and most likely they won't repeat the same thing they did again. The boys admitted they were scared to go in at first, but after they gathered their courage, they felt relieved since nothing attacked them. They then found a large wooden door, which they opened to access the interior of the chapel. The first notable thing about the chapel is that everything there is wooden, including the pews and the ladders. The boys then contemplated for a while if they should climb the ladder or not. While they were at it, they suddenly heard the sound of distant piano music and knew that they were not alone. They thought of backing off, but one of them suggested that they should turn off their flashlights instead. Whoever gave them that idea must be a courageous one, because how do you intend to conquer fear with darkness? Anyway, they proceeded to the chapel and peeked into the next room, only to see the piano player clad in black looking really scary. They knew that it was no human, but they couldn't verify what it was. The craziest part was that these guys decided to run in the direction of the piano player. But the creepiest part is that this player never stopped playing as they ran past him. However, once they got outside, the music stopped, and the silence became even creepier. Could it be that the mysterious figure is there to entertain anyone who comes to visit the chapel? If you'd like to find out for us, let us know in the comments section. But before then, you need to see this eerie clip of Jesus opening his eyes. It happened in the chapel of Saltillo, which is located in the state of Coahuila de Zaragoza, Mexico. There, a statue of Jesus that had been in the chapel for a while with its eyes closed was recorded in June 2016 to have opened its eyes for a brief moment. This clip has caused a commotion within the Christian community and paranormal enthusiasts. In the short clip, you can see the effigy opening its eyes for a few seconds and then closing it back, all whilst a church session can be heard going on in the background. You must agree, this is an eerie sight, as you never would have expected a statue to blink. Many religious folks took the incident to be a sign from God and believed it to be a miracle, while skeptics have simply written it off as a product of video editing, while some believed it to be an optical illusion. According to a report, more than 20 paranormal researchers, priests, sculptors, video editors, and special effects specialists have spent weeks screening through the short footage for any signs of compromise. However, to date, no concrete evidence has been found to prove the footage has been tampered with. Before we bring you more unusual happenings in church captured on camera, let's go into our subscribers pick. This image was reportedly captured by a CCTV of an unknown church in 2020. It shows the body of a dead girl lying on the sickbed and a mysterious figure either sucking her toes or doing something else. This image has sparked a lot of controversies throughout the world, with many questions unanswered. First off, it doesn't look like this happened in a church, but instead in a hospital. However, it has been mentioned that the girl was a teenager who was possessed by an evil spirit. The church is known for exorcism, and so the room was purposely constructed for the same reason. After the priest tried his best to get the evil spirit out of the girl, it all proved abortive, but he kept trying until she gave up. While the priest was making burial arrangements with the teenager's parents, this creature allegedly came out of her. As soon as the picture hit the net, many have speculated that it was an alien, while some said it was an evil spirit. And then we have those who believe this image isn't real. What do you think this is? An alien? A demon? Or a hoax? Let us know in the comments section. While you do, let's go back to showing you more mysterious things caught on camera in church. The married groom. Don't worry, you'll get the gist soon. It's all about a video circulating on social media that shows a woman disrupting a wedding after she caught her husband in the process of marrying another woman. It all happened in a Nigerian church when a lady strapped with a baby at her back screamed in the church premises that the groom was her husband. According to her, she was with her husband the morning of the wedding before he left for the wedding ceremony, and she mentioned that she had 3 kids for him at the time of the wedding. You can still see the shock on the woman's face as she could not understand why her husband would marry another woman when they hadn't divorced or separated. However, the most disturbing aspect of the clip is the reaction of the new bride, who doesn't seem surprised at what was going on. Or maybe she is unresponsive to drama. Talking about drama, this is nothing compared to the aggressive mantle receiver. This mild drama also takes us to Nigeria in the Living Faith Church headquarters in Ota, Ogun State. While the president of the church, Bishop David Oyedepo, was ministering, an unknown man out of the congregation attacked him on the altar. The man, decked in a white suit, was seen dragging the bishop's legs before the timely intervention of his security officers. The security men and some leaders on the altar forcefully pulled the man away from the bishop to prevent him from falling on the altar. Some members have said this man did that, not to injure the bishop, but to receive a mantle from him, just like Elisha did to Elijah in the Bible. Whatever his reasons were, that was bizarre. We can only imagine how shocked the bishop was, but maybe he wouldn't be as shocked as this priest during an altar desecration. During a Sunday morning mass at a Brooklyn Catholic church, a 33-year-old man entered St. Anthony of Padua Church during the 9:30 a.m. service. He then approached the altar and poured a liquid, which the Diocese of Brooklyn identified as juice, onto the altar, damaging the altar cloth. In the process, the man also threw liquid at Father Jossi Batatu, who was leading the mass, causing his vestment to be stained. According to the priest, throughout his years as a priest, nothing like this has ever happened. He felt the man had something to tell him as he approached the altar, but to his surprise, he deserted the altar. Fortunately, the bread and the wine were not damaged, and he was able to continue the mass. Immediately the man did that, he turned to leave, but the church attendees detained him until officers from the 94th precinct arrived. The NYPD stated that he was taken to Woodhull Hospital for evaluation, but his actions left fear in the minds of the church members. Child saint eyes opened. This clip shows a terrifying moment when the corpse of a child saint who died over 300 years ago appears to suddenly open her eyes. It all happened when tourists were visiting the Cathedral of Guadalajara in Jalisco, Mexico, where the preserved remains of Santa Inocencia, meaning Saint Innocence, a little girl, are encased in glass. One visitor was filming the tour of the holy building on his camera when he captured the moment she appeared to open her eyelids. At first sight, the corpse, which has been wax treated for preservation and whose face hasn't decayed in 300 years, looks like a statue. But as the camera pans up and down the body, it focuses on the face before the dead girl seemingly opens her eyes. Many viewers have called it out as being a fake, but others believe it may be a sign. This is all because of the story surrounding how the girl died. While there are many different stories about how the girl met her early demise, the most popular version is that she was a Mexican girl who wanted to make her first communion with classmates, but it was strongly forbidden by her father. She was then invited to be included by the nuns in her school, and when her dad found out she had done it behind his back, he stabbed her to death. After her death, the locals took her body, and she was returned to the cathedral where she was laid to rest and became symbolic as a silent witness of a girl's deep love for Christ. Jesus' statue moves its head. Here again, this is about Jesus' statue, but the only difference is that this didn't happen inside a church, but during a Catholic procession in 2014. The footage shows a Jesus statue moving its head, and this has led some to believe it was a sign from God. However, others claimed the footage was fake, as they could see a cloth on the statue's back moving. It is not clear where the video was filmed, but it was originally uploaded to YouTube by user Eric Garcia. But it was really controversial because it surfaced just a few months after spooky footage of the Jesus statue opening its eyes. Many said it was because the initial one got a lot of attention that someone decided to play a prank on believers. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.